all Apple launches are exciting. You never truly know what they're going to do, but many of the things that we saw here were rumored already. So the biggest surprise for me was the price point and the design of the iPhone 5C. The iPhone 5C was rumored to be a low-end phone aimed at emerging markets, but what it actually is an iPhone 5, a full iPhone 5 with the attention to detail of manufacturing that Apple is famous for. It's just made out of plastic instead of metal. So the price point on that is a little bit below where the iPhone 5 was, but it's certainly no cheap iPhone.
I think an American consumer would get a plastic iPhone if it's the 5C and comes with all those features, the strong camera, and everything that they've wanted in an iPhone. If perhaps they're, let's say, a teenager that couldn't afford the $300 price or something, $99 is not much to ask for a good phone. As a consumer myself, I wouldn't mind a plastic iPhone. I don't care that much about image, and I've got a preteen that would go crazy to have one of those, so I think that will sell really well.
The iPhone 5C comes in lots of quite attractive colors, and that's something that Apple has had success with in the past on their iPod Touch line. But the truth is, when you're thinking in terms of consumer electronics, even large purchases, like a car, we care about the colors.
It'll be interesting to see if any of the colors really zoom ahead, and if that's a problem for Apple to keep in stock. I know they had, that was an interesting concern with the iPods when they came out with all those colors. What if one or two really take off? How do we keep them in stock? It'll be interesting to see if that happens with the phones. I think we saw Apple making a very important move to catch up to some of the competition. When the 5 came out about a year ago, everyone was just thinking, oh, Apple's gone, way ahead of everybody else. This is the standard for smartphones. But then, in the year that's gone by, a lot of competition from the likes of Samsung and Nokia, some of the Windows phones, even BlackBerry, really caught up with some of the features that made Apple stand out. So consequently, the stock price goes down, a lot of people are grumbling, consumers are looking elsewhere. Apple really needed to make a move back to being on top when it comes to the cool features, and I think with the 5S especially, they did that.
Right now, Apple says that half of all smartphone users don't put any security on their phones, and even if the IT department enforces and gives you the ability to use your corporate data on your phone, it's always possible that the person will stop locking the phone or unlock the phone, or simply get really annoyed that they're constantly having to unlock the phone with the password or with a pattern. And with the new Touch ID system, it's seamless. I mean, I was just in there, I just used it. It takes maybe a half second of your finger on the home button, and your phone is unlocked, and it wouldn't unlock it when I tried someone else's phone, and it recognized mine after a very brief training session. It's very impressive technology.
I really like the new security features. I think that's something that a lot of cell phone makers, including Apple, fell short on, especially here in America. It's a huge problem getting the phones stolen or lost and unable to track them down. Instead of going to the phone carriers and saying, hey, you do something about this, I'm impressed that Apple is doing something and saying, well, we have the technology, why don't we make sure that your phone is going to be yours and only yours? And I think that's a really good move that will make a lot of people feel better and safer about having their phones. When it comes to phones, it's a real consumer market, not just in America, but in Israel and in Asia. There are so many choices right now that are really good. For a while, it was just Apple if you wanted a really good, really cool phone. Now there are many of them. I think what happens next is that prices start to drop, and the $200 phones become $99 phones, and they're still going to be really good, and that is great news for the consumer, because the consumer can then come to expect something really good without having to shell out a whole lot of money.